So let's identify success. Those that have it, you know, the definition of success. I want you to understand something. Somebody else defined it for you before it ever came to you. Please, please get this. I'm always hinting on programmation for a reason. It's because once you figure out that people have narratives, people have agendas, people have their own form of thinking, and your form of thinking may be different than theirs. People have boxes that try to fit people, they try to understand psychology, right? But they still haven't figured it all out. We only have 10% of the ocean figured out, in creatures and this and that. So when you understand it, there's a flaw, fundamental flaw in human in how people perceive things and this and that, then you could be that person. This is what I wanted to get to. You can be that person that has a breakthrough theory, a breakthrough insight on the development of where we're gonna go from here to the future, right? You can have that mentality gear you and say, hey, listen, I figured out that if you do this, this happens, right? Now, other people may have told you on Google that if you do this, this happens, right? There's a lot of information out there, and it's not to be relied on. Okay, you need to figure yourself out. You need to be one with yourself. See what the heck is going on the inside, the mechanics up here, and the mechanics right here. What I have figured out, guys, is this: less is more. When you simplify life, you're able to understand it much better. But when you're full of clutter everywhere, when there's a lot that you have to, when you're in the thick of it, it's hard to understand anything at all. You feel like life is happening to you instead of for you. So if you're in the middle of a jungle and you have a bunch of thorns and thistles and branches and twigs and they say figure out where you're at, right? You're gonna be looking. You're gonna see shrubs and trees and all kinds of everything, and they want you to figure out your destination. How can you get up out of this place that you're in the wilderness? The first thing that you got to do is make sense out of where you're at. And that takes, a visual. You have to take a good visual on your surroundings. And often, you're gonna find that there's things that is just clutter and it's just garbage. It doesn't have any use whatsoever. Sometimes, for some people, it's people that are in your sphere, but all they do is drain the goodness out of you. Meaning they bring drama, problems to the table, they suck a life out of you, and as a result, your life is headed in a downward spiral. It's good to help people. It's good to be there for people, but when it's non-productive in the sense that they're taking from you and they're not really getting better themselves, then the Bible says be careful that when you go and help somebody, they don't bring you down with them. So you got to peep game, and you got to be able to distinguish what's really happening here. Am I really helping them, or are they dragging me down? If it's the latter, if they're bringing you down, you got to cut ties, because often enabling somebody, all it does is it makes them rely more on you, but it doesn't change them to want to help themselves. You have to see for yourself if this applies to you. Okay? There's people that need you, and there's people like the elderly. There's people that need help. So there's people that are wheelchair bound, they can't feed themselves, they can't bathe themselves, they're handicapped and they need help. That's not what I'm talking about. But I do believe in boundaries. I do believe in boundaries, limitations. I do believe in my me time. The Bible has a Sabbath, a day of rest. I do believe in helping people, but you being in control of the service, not letting other people dictate and maneuver the car. often with my wife, I try to help her out because she has her disciples that she helps out. And often what I see is that when she gets on the phone with her disciples to help them out, the disciples are taking the reins and they're running with it. And what I mean by that is that they're talking about their past. They're talking about a lot of negativity back to back, and what it's doing is it's making the whole conversation geared towards um, a negativity fest, so to speak. You can express yourself, you can explain what your problem is, and then we can look for and search for a solution to the problem without dwelling in the problem too long. I'm all about, like, I need to know what your situation is. So in that case, you need to tell me what you're going through. Now, when you're going through what you're going through, when you're explaining it to me, I'm searching for methods, ways, strategies, different types of ways, keys, and access to go into that place and release you hostage from that place, or walk you out of that place. I don't want to dwell there a minute longer than I have to. So some people just want to dwell there. They got comfortable in their pit and they want to bring everybody to their pit and have a kumbaya in their pit. I don't want to be part of any pit. So like I said, when I try to help my wife navigate when they're going too long in this, like, when I was 15 this happened, and when I was 16 that happened, I did, okay, I leave the room, I come back, and the person is still talking about negativity, and what I say, wait, this is not okay. Because then they're gonna channel you, they're gonna interpret you as a person that this is our friendship, this is what I do when I call you. I just exert all my bad energy up on you, all my bad thoughts, all my negativity. You are that person that I do it on. I dump on you, so to speak. And so you're that to them. But there is no solution. There is no fruit there. There is no help there. There's no solution. If that's all that there is, then go get a therapist and do that, and then they will take all that. But people like me, I'm always in life looking for the light, the positivity, the truth. I'm looking for ways of getting up out of a situation. I had a guy call me, and he was telling me that his wife left him for another man, that he had thoughts of suicide. He's coping right now. He's not doing well. He was drinking and to get past, and through the drinking, it was just becoming worse. Told me his problem. I needed to hear that. That's not what I mean. I needed to hear all of that. But then he paused and he stopped. He paused and he stopped so that I can talk back. So when I was able to talk back to him, I was able to tell him some things that I had on my heart to tell him. I told him that he was dealing with spiritual warfare, right? Because I discerned it in the spirit. The whole alcohol thing, it throws fuel on the fire that's already lit, right? So then I talked him out of the darkness into the negativity, telling him not to make a permanent decision on a temporary situation. A permanent decision is like committing suicide, but this situation is temporary. It came to leave. It's like the wind. It hits you, and then it left, right? So the situation, it's not going. We're gonna deal with it, and it's gonna go away. But the way that we're gonna deal with it is to make you stronger, wiser, better as a result that it came into your life, and that right there is truth. Whatever situation that is difficult came to bless you, and it didn't come to destroy you. It came to bless you, because the wisdom you take from that is valuable. It's really valuable, because you're gonna help a lot of people, and you're gonna discern in the future never to go down this path ever again. That's what makes wisdom so valuable. Is it keeps you away from trouble. It keeps you away from ditches. It keeps you away from danger. Wisdom, wisdom. And okay, as an example, yesterday, this is this is just like these little moments in life that make a difference, and it stops you from having a bad day. My wife drops a cup in the laundry yesterday, and she says, "Wow, I can't believe I did that. I made a mistake. I dropped a cup in the little tube where you're supposed to put the detergent." And she's like, "And the cup is not coming out. How can I get it?" She's like, "Can you help me?" And I said, "Yeah, let's go. Let's take a look at it." And so I'm trying to get the cup, and I put my hand into the tube. Now, when I put my hand in the tube, I have rings, right? So when I put my hand in the tube, I'm thinking, wait, what if I drop my rings? Um, wisdom kicked in. I didn't have to lose my ring down the tube, freak out, because even though it's just a ring, I get it. I don't. I'm not materialistic or anything like that, but I still don't want to lose a ring that I worked hard for, right? This ring, I gave it to myself. You know, I believe I believe that if nobody else is honoring us, if nobody else is hugging you and loving on you, you got to do it for yourself. So I've been laboring, and I've been doing a lot of good sacrificial deeds for a lot of people and this and that. But not everybody's always going to appreciate it. Not everybody's always going to come and tap you on the shoulder and tell you how much it meant to them that you did that for them. So after doing it for months and months and months, I felt dry on the inside. I felt like, I deserve a reward. I deserve a present. But nobody else is really doing it for me. I don't feel the love. I don't feel the appreciation. A lot of people feel that way. But I learned through the hard times, wisdom kicked in to say, you know what, when nobody's doing it for you, it's okay for you to do it for yourself. If you're your own champion in the ring, if you're your own champion in your corner, then that's okay. So if you haven't heard the words "I love you," it's okay to tell yourself "I love you." If you haven't heard the words, for the girls, you're beautiful, then it's okay to tell yourself that you're beautiful. And so if you haven't gotten a present from anybody in terms of honor or anything like that, it's okay to go and say, you know what, I've earned this. And that's what those rings meant to me. I went, and only God knows what I do. Like, I don't share it with anybody, but I put in work, like true work for the kingdom of God. And I just said, you know what, I'm going to go honor myself. I went to a jewelry store, and I bought myself uh, what I relate to be the Lion of Judah. It's a lion ring. And so now I don't want to leave it in the laundry thing, right? So I'm putting my hand there, and I'm saying, you know what, let me take off these rings. But I just thought that was a moment, even though it was a tiny, little, insignificant moment, wisdom kicked in. Wisdom was saying, you know what, there's a better way to do this. If we're going to get this cup, let's go in a different format. And if we just pause every time we're about to do something and see if there's a better way to do it, whatever it may be, if there's a better way to do anything, pause before you do anything and evaluate. This is the way I'm going in, but is there a better way? Yeah, if I do this or that, it'd be better. Okay, let's do it that way then. So that's all that was. Um, and I'm just telling you that if you exercise wisdom in every given situation, it's going to save you a whole lot of heartache. And all wisdom is, first of all, wisdom is when you read the Bible a lot, God's going to give you wisdom, especially when you ask for it. But also, wisdom is doing the wrong things and then learning from it. Right? So when you make your mistakes, don't count yourself a failure. Just be like, you know what? I learned something here. I really did. I learned something here. I'm not going to do that again. And now I have wisdom. And that's why you see old people with gray hairs and whatnot, and they move slow in life, don't they? And some people would say, no, they move slow because, they're old and their bones and their muscles are not working. Nah, but a lot of them, they move slow because they understand that as a child, everything was about running. And what happens? I have my kids all the time coming to me. I fell here. I bruised my head. I bruised my hip. I fell. I got roughed up. All because they're moving too fast in life. I say, you know what? Slower is better. The same way slower is better because you have more control of what you do. The same way slower is better, so is less is more. Less is more because it simplifies life. When you can manage what you have, when you can manage it well, you can add to it. But if you have so much that you don't even know what you have, because you have so much, all it does is it clutters this up here and it disorganizes your life. And it makes you feel, like you're a poor manager of life itself, of time, of just of completing things and etc. So again, wisdom just kicks in because life, there's the things that produce life and there's the things that produce death. There's the things that produce results and there's the things that produce chaos, right? And you know what, guys? I've learned that half the battle is choosing the right thing, right? It's this thing is not too complicated. It really is not. It's like if I have peace, that's a big part of being successful. You know, to me, I've defined success for myself, and success to me is, if I have tranquility, if I have peace, if I'm content, if all my relationships around me are aligned and we're fruitful. I don't have shame in my life. I don't have guilt in my life. I don't I don't have condemnation in my life. You know, and these things attribute to success to me. These are things that I feel like, you know what? I can live this life like this. This is good, right? What is success to you? So many people define it as the cars, the houses, the jewelry, the money, and but I always ask the question like, if you have all those things, but you're dead on the inside, what does it count? What does it matter? If you're dead on the inside, or if you feel guilt, shame, and condemnation, if you're living in darkness, if you have no rest, if you have no peace, then how could you ever enjoy any of those things? So I pose that question, right? So I worry more about the things that go on the inside than the outside. Because I understand what Jesus Christ said. He said, if everything's aligned on the inside, if things are clean on the inside, then don't worry about the outside. The outside's going to be clean too. It's going to be settled. Because if you're organized on the inside with your thoughts, most likely that your outside will match. And like me personally, I can't live in a dirty house. I can't live in a house where there's things every which way. I'm not immaculate either. There's things don't have to be perfect. I'm not OCD. But man, oh man, my wife will tell you I can't live in a disorganized house. I can't live with a house where there's the dishes are piled up. The everything is just disorganized. I can't do it. And the reason why I can't do it is because my insides don't match this outside. My inside, because these outsides will, it makes me feel a certain type of way on the inside. These outsides don't match my insides, right? When you have chaos and disorder and just funkiness everywhere, all of that starts to permeate on the inside. That's why God says, like, take care of what you watch, take care of what you listen to, take care of what you feed yourself, or who you're around, who you're connected to, right? All of that starts to seep in, and when the contamination comes within, how deep is that contamination? How dark is it? Because there's degrees to darkness, there's degrees to corruption and stuff like that. But I kid you not, man. When you're fixed, healed, delivered, set free, and when you're free, when you're clean on the inside, because you're living the godly life. When you're doing that, the best way I could describe it is that you're not in want, you're not in need. I mean, imagine that you're not in want and you're not in need. You're not in want and you're not in need. That alone is success to me. Like you're just okay. You know, everything is good. You know, it's like you're looking around, you're good. Even when you're going through hard times, you got God with you to face that hard time. But when you look at the hard times, I'm gonna end the video with this. When you're going through your hard times, even your perception, if you have wisdom, you would see the hard times. They came to teach you something. The hard times has a lesson within it that the people that want to learn can rejoice about. What am I going to learn out of this hard time? There's something that I'm going to come out of this situation better off, right? Because if I position myself accurately, if I do the right things with this problem, I'll be promoted in life. If I allow this problem to seep into my emotions and my feelings how Satan would want, then I'll sink. I'll sink. Just like Peter sank when he took his eyes off of Jesus and he put it on the storm, he sank when he was on top of water, standing on top of water with Jesus. He took his eye off of Jesus and then he looked on the storm. Well, that's what Satan wants. He wants you to look at your problems like it's the big bad wolf, like the big dragon that came to devour you. But really, in reality, God wants you to look at it like, what did you come over here to teach me? There's something. You're either going to expose a flaw, expose a weakness. You're going to teach me something about myself that God wants to work on. He wants to strengthen me in that area. He wants to better me in that area. So instead of running away from, let's learn. Let wisdom lead the way. Let's be the type of people that are not scared of a challenge. They're not scared of something hard, right? Because it's the hard stuff that builds you up. It's the hard stuff. The easy stuff anybody could do, right? But it's the hard stuff that blesses you in the end. Right? Anybody that's worked really hard for anything, they'll tell you, man, it feels very gratifying. Because when I hit that finish line, when I got that degree, when I got that certificate, when I got that, that goal meant, whatever it was, it meant so much to me. Some people cry, because it just means so much to them. It was hard, but it was so worth it. But it's no different. When you go through a challenge, it came to bless you. It came to bless you guys. It really did. Those things come so that you can become a better person. Now, all we got to do is align ourselves with the truth and allow the truth to speak louder than the lies. There's going to be lies spoken about you. The lies spoken have to talk about your identity, your character, how you're this, you're that. The devil's the father of lies. He's going to tell you how your character is this, your character is that, blah, blah, blah. And at that point, you have the option and the choice to grow and to become a better person. And the way that you become a better person is that you speak to yourself the truth. And you're like, I'm not that. I am this. I'm not that. I may have made mistakes. I may have done some errors, but that's not who I am. Who I am is this. And you pursue that road until you're free of the lies. And when you're free of the lies, you'll find that it was well worth the whole journey. Because the whole journey taught you how to be strong, how to persevere, how to have patience, how to have character, how to bear fruit, and then how to have value in yourself, how to trust God, how to, rely on God. The whole thing, it produces good results. But likewise, the devil uses the easy things to get people to shortchange themselves, to cheat themselves out of greatness. Right? Martin Luther King went through a whole lot, but look how much he produced in his journey. Right? But then you think about the people that conned, cheated, stole. You think about the people that wear masks and they get away with stuff. Their blessing never stays with them, guys. Don't worry about it. They never get to sustain the blessing because their character messes it all up. Even if they get the promotion, they don't keep the job because in a few months they do something stupid to lose their job. Their character is not built to withstand the blessing. So the character is built through hard times. The easy times makes you what they call a snowflake. What they call a snowflake these days is somebody that wants everything easy, catered to them. They don't want to struggle in the slightest. So whenever they go through any little hard thing, oh, the world is against me. Oh, everything is so unfair. You racist, you this, you that. Well, really, your character's not built. You're not built strong as of yet. But the more you go through hard times, and every single human being goes through hard times, everybody. You know how I know that? Because everybody dies. And just by losing a loved one, you're going through hard time just by that alone. But then, there's other things that life throws at you that even the rich, even the wealthy go through a whole lot of hard times. You think they don't get sick? You think they don't go have accidents? You think they don't go to the hospital? You think they don't break bones sometimes? You think they don't get cheated or sued? You think that people are not trying to steal from them? You think that people are not casing their house to see when they could rob them? You think that they're not, exploited for every single little detail of their life? Because now they're rich and famous, and now everything's under a microscope, and anything they do is like the whole world knows about it. That's not a life of that you may think that it's all that, but when you look into the details, it's like, dude, there's a whole lot more than meets the eye. Anyways, guys, character, stick with it, be strong, be courageous. The Bible says be strong and courageous, and persevere, because the opposite is to give up, and to give up is to stay where you're at and never to grow, never to become anything greater. And and there is a ladder to this whole thing. You get to climb the ladder, but you have to go through certain things to climb the ladder. That's just the name of the game, right? So let's not cop out. Let's not look for a backdoor exit because it's hard. We could look for support. We could get expert advice. We could get help from other people like mentors and stuff like that. There is resources that you can get to help your load out. But don't back out, don't back down, and don't give up, because you're meant to shine through it all. And in the end, you honor yourself. You're like, you know what, man? Even if nobody else sees it, I see the value in me. Even if nobody appreciates me, I appreciate me, because you've gone through so much that you built a relationship with your own self. You're like, man, you're always standing for the right thing, man. I appreciate you. Even if you look crazy, man, doing that. There's this, you're built strong type of attitude that, yeah, people can say whatever they want. Your fruit speaks for itself. God bless you guys.